Well, looks like I've got enough gear for a week, but I'm only here for a night. And yeah, back on the little lake, which is, yeah, looking good actually. God, still, it's a long slog pushing the barrow up here. Very muddy at the moment, so it wasn't easy, but here we are. Only one on the lake as per usual, that's nothing new. Just bumped into a guy fishing the Mets just over the back, and he was saying that a guy the weekend had a couple out of here. He said fishing how I used to do it, boating across to the far corner. And yeah, funny enough, I've been baiting up out there the last couple of weeks, so yeah, just a few days too late. But normally if they're getting on that spot, then they'll get on it more. So yeah, very hopeful for tonight anyway. I reckon there's a good chance, but time is short and there's a lot of gear there to sort out. So yeah, I'm going to get cracking. I'm going to stick two on the far side there where I've been putting bait in, but normally I just go straight in with Snowman, slip D, but I'm going to stick one out on a pop-up on a hinge rig just to see. It's still very early in the year, so sometimes a little bright pop-up amongst the bait, if they're not feeding heavily, that'll just pick out a bite sometimes where they're not getting their heads right down on the bait. And so yeah, we'll give it a go anyway. I'm still going to have a slip D Snowman out on the spot, so you know, I'll still go in with my favourite setup on one at least. Just in time, I think. It looks like it's going to start raining a bit now. I could cast to the spots, but it would cause so much disturbance, let alone getting up in the trees over there. So I do need to get just under the branches. Ooh, God, those barbless hooks are so sharp. Right. I like doing the two hoppers so that I actually drop a bit of bait right on the rig, but then I just move a few yards away and drop a little bit more, so there's always little spots that haven't got hook bait in. And I quite like the idea of that. Got the new test bait still from Nash. Don't know if I'm allowed to say what that is yet. I'm not going to say, I better not. But yeah, it's a nice bait, good food value, but nice and soft, so it breaks up nice and easy. There we go. Little bit of maize. Bit of colour down there. And what else got? Pellets. Yeah, and a bit of hemp and mixed seed. I suppose it's probably got to be a good couple of years since I last fished here, actually. I suppose I caught most of the fish I was after, and that was sort of the end of the little campaign on here, but it's just a nice little lake, really. That's what's drawn me back, it's just such a nice little place. I mean, I'm the only one on here, and I often come down on my bike and sort of ride along the other side there, sometimes put a little bit of bait in different spots. And it's very, very rare for me to see anyone actually fishing here. I know they do, by the sounds of it, someone was here recently and had a couple of fish. So, some people are obviously getting down here and fishing it. But it's, it's certainly not pressured, put it that way. And, the fact that it keeps sort of drawing me back, I keep stopping off and having a look. Just fancied having another little go here, really. The fish themselves are absolute stunners in here, and there is still a few fish that I didn't catch. There's a lovely fully scaled in here, for a nice little chilled out place just to come down and do a night's fishing or a couple of nights fishing. For me, this sort of fulfills everything I'm looking for. It's nice and quiet, there's decent fish, and it's got that sort of feeling. I always say about lakes that I fish that as long as they give me that feeling when I'm on them, that's all I'm looking for. It's not all about the fish and the people. The water has to give me that feeling as well, and this one always does. It always has done. Since I started looking at it those few years ago, and feeding the fish and seeing the fish, and then going on and catching them. It's always been right up my street, really, this little lake. So, it's actually nice to come back and have a little go again. Be nice to catch one, obviously. I've got to be off in the morning. This is literally just a quick overnighter. But, it'd be lovely to get one. It would be nice to get one. But an upper double, nice little chunky zip linear. I'm very happy with that. It's not about big fish, this lake, it's only a little lake, but there's only about 20 fish in it, so everyone is a little bit special, and This one's very special as well, isn't it? What a cracking little fish. Quick overnight session, and you know, every fish is welcome, every bite's welcome. So yeah, happy days. Now, there was a little dilemma of whether the slip D and the snowman or the hinge rig and the pop-up was going to go off. This was on the hinge rig and the pop-up. There we go. Every method has its day, and the little pop-up was the one that did the job today. Right, let's get back. Well, that's it, last rod just coming in now. It's always a shame to have to go actually. Looks nice out there, no one else on the lake. Maybe another chance for a bite. I do a lot of sort of longer sessions, a week, you know, 2 weeks. So overnighters, don't get to do many of them. So it was nice to just do a short session for a change. And the aim of the session was just to get a bite. And yeah, did that, got a bite, landed a fish. So now time to go home, a bit of lunch and a cup of tea at home. Gear all over the place. Just got here for another little well, 2-nighter this will be. I'm not too worried about getting all rods out at the moment, but I've got one out because I've seen a few fish in the snag just down to the left there, and a couple of nice ones actually. Don't know how big, it's hard to sort of see them properly, but it's worth putting a rod down there quite quick. I mean, daytime bites are not very common on here. In fact, I think I've only had one afternoon bite, and it was on that rod down there which produced the Virgin a few years ago. So well, it's worth getting that one out. My other spot, which I've been putting a bit of bait on, there's a couple of tufties and coots and whatever over there at the moment, so I'm not in a rush to get that one out because, like I say, daytime bites are pretty thin on the ground, and I don't want to get birded out too early and have to do the rod again. So what I'm going to do is just sort my gear out here, get the bivvy up, have a cup of tea, and think about sorting the rods out after that, because I think if I'm going to get a bite at this sort of time, it's going to be on that rod anyway. So I'm happy with that one at the moment, and I'm just going to take things easy and then get the others out in a bit. But it's lovely, it's a lovely spring day today. The leaves, even since last week when I was here, the leaves are coming out more. There's a nice tinge of green on the trees now. The sun's pretty warm. There's actually a couple of fish cruising about on the top out there. So there we go, spring is here. This one fought like an absolute nutter and actually got me snagged up a couple of times. I had no choice other than to put the rod back on the rest and wait for it to free itself, which thankfully it did. Jeez, that was a fight and a half. Lovely old dark one. Touch and go that was. What a scrap that was. I thought I'd lost this fish 2 or 3 times. It run right for a snag on the other side, which I normally don't do, but it absolutely, well, you saw the take, so yeah, and took me a while. It took me a couple of attempts to get it out of that, and then it went all over the lake and got snagged right down to my left in the bush. But somehow managed to get it in. And I mean, the nice thing is, it's a fish that I've not had before. There can't be too many that I haven't had in here, but lovely dark mirror, as they always are. God, scrap like I couldn't. But yeah, new fish for me. Nice scaly one. And God, an early take as well, actually. I put the bait out and the coots were getting on it a bit, and the tufties, there's a couple of tufties sitting over there, and I was waiting for one of them to pick it up, and then all of a sudden, well, saw the take, there was no way that was going to be a coot or a tufty, and sure enough it was this one. What a cracker. Well pleased with that, and not been here long, so right, getting back, get the rod back out, because I think there might be another one tonight, or a chance tonight or in the morning. But there we go, I'm happy with this one anyway. Mwah. Well, the sun's up and it's warming up a little bit now, but I'll tell you what, it's been a cold night. For yeah, this time in the spring, well, you never know what you're going to get in spring, do you? I suppose that's the answer to it all. But tonight's meant to be a little bit warmer and a bit of rain moving in, so yeah, that might change things. But it was a quiet night anyway. Yeah, not surprising really. As it got to evening, there was a big bright full moon come up, and it got cold really quick. I was on the phone to Joan and I said, God, you know, the temperature's really dropped. And yeah, I ended up just getting in the bag and watching a few videos, watching a bit of Alan and Henry out in France, which was really good. But yeah, otherwise it was a really, really quiet night. A few bleeps this morning, which I think was a coot actually. Time to get the kettle on, have a cup of tea. And yeah, try and warm up a little bit. Yeah, chilly spring mornings. Oh. Well, they did say it was going to rain, and yeah, the old weather forecaster's got it right. It makes change, doesn't it? But yeah, typical spring conditions, I suppose. Bright sunny day yesterday, big full moon, frosty night, and now it's much warmer, much wetter. So yeah, very changeable conditions, but probably better actually. This is a lot better looking than yesterday, much milder, so well, let's hope it brings something. I think this is in for a few hours now. We got quite a bit of rain tonight and showers tomorrow, by the sounds of it. I'll be packing up tomorrow, but showers on and off, so well, just stay under cover unless something happens and dodge the showers tomorrow. That's the plan. Well, another absolute cracker, common this time. There we go, well pleased to see him. It's a real carpy morning this morning, lovely and overcast and mild, and it looked good for a bite, and sure enough it was. So yeah, that's spring fishing really. Yesterday was really bright, really cold night, chilly morning, and today totally different, but that is what spring's all about. You know, it can be very changeable. But fish are about to be caught. So it was the hinge rigs that come out on top. I mean, I started off one on slip D, one on a hinge, ended up with them all on hinges because that was what they wanted, a little bright pop-up over a little scatter in the bait. And yeah, it's turned out all right. Only 3 nights fishing, 3 fish on the bank. So yeah, very happy with the results. Gonna get this one back, get packed up, and I'll be on my way. But yeah, happy days.